We have Voiceless Voice for you today. We have Buster Blader back at it again. Dark World, more fire, and Branded also doing well. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome. I've loved the interesting things that we have seen out of Sneak Peek Weekend here. And the idea is that people have been trying out, getting ready to experience the full wave of the new cards. And first as we have here is Novox and Friends, or Low, the Silent Force, Voiceless Voice. You gotta love it out here. This feels very, very much like you're expecting. The only real major thing here that it feels a little bit off from, what we're expecting to be the better builds are double Saravis, but I think that's fine, honestly. Sometimes having the extra Saravis to be able to kind of cheese for, one for the disruption effect, and then one, to actually be able to summon, can come up, honestly. I think a lot of people kind of forget that the Anodized Pendulum Grab is a fantastically broken card, too. You'll be able to do so many stupid, good, crazy things with this. I don't know how I feel about only one Dynamondo. Dynamondo is a really strong card, but this build's optimizing to play way more super poly targets. You're playing 6 of them. Obviously in a more localized environment, you got to remember that, you're going to try to hit all of your, high notes along the way that you can, so you can make sure that, you don't lose to anything really random. And that's fine. You want these decks to be able to curve out and do their things. So, you kind of lose a little bit of feedback room to Dynamondo. But to be fair, you're going to know what you're playing against to be able to sculpt correctly with your Pot of Prosperity anyway. So I don't think that's really going to be too much of an issue along the way. The double Fenrir is also kind of interesting. Fenrir into Fenrir, be able to do your things. Fenrir is still the best mid-range control option that we have right now in Modern Era Yu-Gi-Oh! So being able to have that spot removal option can really get you out of some sticky situations. Man, you gotta love this card. It is so good when it needs to be. Next up here, we have Buster Blader and Friends. Yeah, let me tell you, man, the prologue being able to bring up the big Buster Blader has been very comical to me, and it amazes me every week. This duelist is on a 4-week streak of being successful with this deck. Take a moment to think about that, though, that they have been able to hit these high notes for this long, this successfully out here with this deck, and they're doing it very strongly. I think that's kind of crazy out here. We are playing a Grand Tusk Drag on normal or special. You can target up to 2 other cards on the field, destroy them. As thing gains attack, 600 for each card destroyed. Well, that's pretty simple, but I love our special summon clause on this. You gotta love the free form of interruption to be able to bring this thing on out during your opponent's turn. We are doing the 2 Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. Pretty easy stuff here. And then, of course, this deck, like most of the variants, is relying on the craziness that is Branded Regained to kind of start doing this advantage roll. It's a pretty simple thing out here that, you want to generate all of this advantage as quickly as we can to start putting your opponent into a worse position. I think this deck does it pretty well, honestly. If you were looking at, still trying to do Dragon Link shenanigans, give the Buster Lock a shot, all right? It doesn't have to be the most optimized, crazy thing in the world, but I believe that this duelist is onto something out here with their continued success. Also, 48 cards is nothing really too terrible right now. We've seen that more and more people have been trying on the higher end of things for consistency's sake, and I think that's fine. You want to try to optimize and get numbers pretty much where you want them to be for the best possible results. All right. Oh my god, it's my arch nemesis, Dark World. Well, shimber me timbers. This build is very, very all over the place. But I can tell you that a lot of these one-of choices that you're seeing in here are for good reason. We'll start off with the anti-spell and the summon limit. This guy right here. I think a lot of people forgot that Nightmare Griffin has this very unflattering effect that lets you discard a card, target a spell and trap card in your graveyard, and you can set it, but you can't activate it this turn. Okay, man. Trust me, the little shenanigans that you're able to do. Summon Limit is a free auto win button against a lot of the meta right now. I don't think people have had the chance to figure it out yet, but as we see more and more people trying out some of these results out here, I think Summon Limit is going to continue to kind of open up and be one of these cards that people are going to be like, wow, you know, like I didn't actually think about that. We are doing one Ken and triple Gen, as we should be, though there are a few people that will be like, no, you need to play more than one Ken in these builds. It's fine. You have ratios and things to mess around with. And yes, we are playing the one copy of the Shea Ren. Don't underestimate the milling capabilities of this very stupid card. All right, like I think a lot of people don't really give Shea Ren a lot of credit. You know, if she was more generically available, I think we'd have a lot more problems out here for the game. So, yeah, this card still knows. We're doing one talents. We also side one thrust. We also have an econ down here. And we have additional copies of anti-scam fragrances for us to be able to pull into if a situation, you know, kind of calls for it. You have enough room out here that you can mess around with these sorts of ratios and kind of give the deck a little bit of a chance to see what you want to do. Cool. Oh, fire, fire, fire. The amount of people out here that got their pobblers right now that are willing to just, you know, go for the craziness part of this, it's really, really funny. But you're going to notice something down here in the side deck. We are citing a full 15 cards to transform this deck on in to a Rescue Ace deck. Take a moment to appreciate the crazy ideas behind this. You know, your opponent's going to side for Fire Kings, and then you're going to board out all your Fire King stuff, and suddenly you're playing Rescue Ace. I have not seen any talk about this whatsoever. Nobody has said, hey, let's build a transformation side deck where we can actually turn our Fire King deck into something else. No, I've seen discussion points on a 60 card hybrid out here where you're able to try, you know, little different things along the way, but nothing on the level of this. This is the kind of stuff that you look at and you kind of appreciate, you know, the fire evolution. You know, if you play something a little bit more rogue, or, you know, you just want to, you know, change the way your opponent's looking at the game or the way you're perceiving the game. This is very interesting. I'm not sure, obviously, you know, you're going to board out most of your Fire King stuff to board in this package, but this is, anybody else think that this is kind of crazy? That they were able to find a way to optimize this so early down in the game where you can try this in some sort of transformation random pile. I got to clap for him, man. I'm genuinely impressed. I want to see this be successful, this format, just on the random scale that people are going to go, what in the world did I just lose to, you know? And it's going to be interesting. Next up here, we have Branded. And, you know, this is Branded playing into all of the insanity that is the Fire block. Now, I do see we're actually opting to play Ido with the gimmick puppet stuff in here. Now, obviously, Ido is pretty good for, you know, obviously making sure that, well, both of these are good at doing their job. But I find it interesting that they opted to be able to play the additional one here. Maybe, you know, you want to make sure that, oh no, if your opponent has an out to the first one, maybe you can nail Coffin the second one into them on a follow-up turn. A lot of interesting discussion for what you could be doing here, but a lot of this deck's success is going to go to the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon man himself here, being able to still produce this card. I do love the fact that this card does feel a little bit more power crept as time has kind of gone on here with this deck, but, you know, you still make it, you still put up this massive power pressure on your opponent. Your opponent's forced to look at this card and go, wow, yeah, that's nothing I can do about that. I see we're also side decking Dark Ruler no more. Okay. Interesting. Double Cosmic. Yeah, most of this feels pretty right. I feel like there should be a crossouts in here with some of the 2 of ratios, but That's fine. We're also playing Maximus. Not too bad. So if you guys have started to have crazy results out here for Phantom Nightmare, please feel free to send them on over to me. I am very, very curious to see how more of this meta is going to start to unfold. And you guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.